Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, tell me, why are you here to learn SQL? Why SQL is more important for us to learn? Yeah. Nagendra, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
So honestly, Farhan, see, I have an idea on the SQL, but I never had hands-on experience. See, the question which you're asking, so I'll just put it in my own way, where
Hmm.
SQL is a structured query language where it will help to, it's like a communication, where it will go to the database based on the query, it will retrieve the data, the required, whatever the query you are asking, it will go and it will fetch the data.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. So, SQL is nothing but a query language through which we can communicate from the database. So without SQL, we can't communicate through the database. We have kept our things, items in the database, kept our records, kept our data, kept our information in the database. But how can we fetch those information from the database? S- So for that, we have a SQL. We can either select the data from the database, that is the fetch the data. If we want some data from the database, we can select those data. If we want to modify some data, we can either delete, update, or truncate, drop, whatever. Yeah, these commands we'll talk later into the class once we go deep dive into the class. Okay. So to fetch the records from the database, to modify the records, to deal basically to communicate with the database, we need SQL. So it's nothing but a query language which helps us to communicate from the database. Okay. So SQL is nothing but a structured query language which will help us to communicate with the database. Now, you must have heard, even though you're not familiar with SQL or even though you're familiar with SQL, it doesn't matter, but you must have heard of different terms called Oracle SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres. So what are these? So in some projects like they use Oracles, some projects they use SQL Server, in another project they use Postgres, and now we have cloud database as well. So these are nothing but a database provided by different organization. So we have Oracle SQL database, which is provided by Oracle. So Oracle has built it and they used to maintain it. They have a licensing cost and everything for the enterprise version. Then again, we have MySQL, SQL Server, SQL Server is from Microsoft, and then Postgres is an open source database. But if you just download any of these databases and start writing the SQL query, then you will hardly see the difference. So there is very like 2 to 5% difference, I will say. So most of the syntax or most of the keyword is same across all these database. So people keep on asking, okay, what should I go ahead with? Should I learn Oracle SQL? Should I learn MySQL, Postgres, which is high in demand in the market? So I will say if you go ahead with any of the SQL database, then 95% thing is similar across all database. You have the same settings, you'll be using the same keyword, everything will be same. Only in some places there will be change in the keyword or there will be change in the syntax. We'll be moving ahead with Oracle SQL here. But yeah, if you have anything like in your project you are using Postgres or SQL Server, so we can go ahead with that as well. But yeah, thinking from the class perspective, we'll go ahead with Oracle SQL. But if you have any doubt regarding to other database, we can connect and we'll let you out. We'll clear it out. Okay.
Yeah, just but I have
Yeah.
a question. Should I go for her or you want me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take the
Sure.
questions?
Sure, Nagendra.
So
Yeah. You can ask.
we have a different, you're saying that see, different people are available in the market who are providing the databases. That's what you're telling.
Yes.
So,
Correct.
I mean, how, because ultimately the aim is to get the data from the database. So that's where, that is the, I mean, the final output. So is
Exactly.
there any, I mean, why these many in the market? And second one is, so I see that in my company, they're using GCP and where they're using a BigQuery and also the
Okay.
SQL. So these are the two servers they're using and what way they're different from each other. That's what I just want to know.
Okay. So, okay. Let's understand from the daily day-to-day life activities. Okay. So, what do? We get the salary in our bank account, or let's say previously we were getting the salary into our hand. But to keep those salaries, to keep the money, we need some bank, right? Where we can keep our money securely. Okay. So, for that, now you can see we have different types of banks in the market: public bank, private bank, and so many names you'll see: HDFC, ICICI, SBI. I don't know how many are there. Okay. Similarly, there are organizations which came into the market and which provided us a space that, okay, you can keep our data into my database and we have these licensing cost. So you can buy the licensing cost, you can take our storage and you can keep your data and you can use it for your selection, for your manipulation, whatever, for your analysis. That doesn't matter. They're not concerned about that. They're just selling their product. So it's kind of a product. Now, yeah, as you mentioned, in your project, they are using GCP, okay, and any of the SQL database. Okay. So now we have cloud database as well. So many of the cloud companies, GCP from Google, AWS from Amazon, Azure from Microsoft, and other clouds are as well are also there. Databricks and so many clouds. Okay. Oracle as well provides. Oracle has also launched their cloud database. So they also came into the picture. So they are also selling their services. So you can take any of the based on the clients, based on the project they used to take, and based on the cost, licensing cost, and all. The company used to decide, okay, which database or which cloud database we have to go ahead with. So it doesn't matter you go ahead with which database, but yeah, there are several items which the clients used to see once they like how much secure these databases are, how much secure these cloud databases are. So these type of things, and then so many key items, specifications, and everything. Okay. So they used to take care of these things, and then based on that, they go ahead with this database. Yeah. So was your question answered, Nagendra? Do you have any other question?
It's very clear. It's very clear. Thank you. So should
Okay.
I call you as Farhan? So you are
Yeah.
Farhan.
Yep. Yeah. You can call me Farhan.
Okay. Okay, Farhan. Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, yeah, I want the class to be interactive. So you can ask as many questions as you can. See, I don't have any presentation, any document which I'll be presenting over the class and then explaining you. Okay. I believe in the hands-on way of teaching. So everything I'll be either explaining in the Excel or in any of the Oracle. Let's say here now I'm using Oracle SQL, so Oracle database. So I'll be using Oracle database. So there I'll be explaining the query with the help of Excel, with the help of notebook, notepad. Okay. So I'll not be using any document, any presentation. So you can ask as many questions as you can. And then I want the class to be interactive. So unless and until you ask question, you'll not understand new concepts, right? So even though I'm explaining things, it's getting into your mind, but you're not attentive throughout the class. So you'll forget after some time. So you have to be interactive throughout the session. You have to practice after the class. Then only you will be able to master any skill. I am not talking about SQL, any skills, right? Okay. So now we are clear about SQL. So we understood that SQL is a query language through which we can communicate with the database. Now, we need the table, right? In the database, what we'll be doing? Database is nothing but, okay, here I explain, right? It's nothing but a kind of locker room. But inside that locker room, we have to create individual lockers. So individual lockers are nothing but a table. So in the same way, in the database, you have to create a table. And how you will be creating the table, there is a syntax for that, but that syntax is written in SQL. Okay, that command, that query, or that uh, script, whatever you can say, that is written in SQL. So that is a query language. Okay, so let's say in Excel, previously what people were doing before the database came into picture, they were storing all the data inside the Excel format. Okay, even though now in the projects we use Excel to store some of the data or like to do our analysis to for report generation. Okay, so previously they were storing all their data inside the Excel, but Excel has many limitations, right? You you can't. I mean, there is of course a limitation on rows and columns as well. There is fixed number of rows and fixed number of columns, and selection manipulation is very difficult in Excel, and you have to maintain this Excel in your folder, right? So if let's say by mistake you deleted some of the Excel file, then it was very difficult to recover that. When it when the database came into picture, so they solved all these problems. So that's why everybody switched to database, and now they are switching to cloud database just because cloud database is providing so many options rather than these inbuilt databases, you can say. Okay, so let's say we created a table. Now let's say this is our table called a student. Now in this table we need the data to store, right? So this is just a let's say for a school or for a college, they have built a student table. Okay, let's understand from this perspective. They have a database, okay, for their school. And inside this database, they created a table to store the details of a student. And there are different other tables to store the student, to store the details of teachers, to store the details of those students who are taking scholarships and then who directly got admitted, when they got admitted. So those are so many details they are storing in the database. Maybe some of the records they are maintaining in the same table. For some, they created a different table. So we'll not go ahead, we'll not go deep into that. We'll just talk about the student table. So let's say we created a student table. Now we need the data. What are these data? The student details, right? So let's say we have a student called Farhan, and then, okay, let's understand from there. There's a student ID, name, and address. Okay, let's say there is a student's, oh, when is that? Okay, so these are nothing but the records. These are the details of the students, okay, which are residing in the student table. There can be n number of data you can store in the data table, okay. And then how can we select this data? How can we fetch this data? Again, for that, you need to write a SQL query. So to store the data, to fetch the data, to modify the data, for everything you need SQL. In the Excel, I just shown you like how to create a table. We can just drag it and then create a table, right? But in database, how can we do that? Let's understand. Okay. So there is a command called create. So to create anything, we can use this create command. Now our intention is to create a table, right? So we can create a table with the create command. And then if you want to select the data, if you want to fetch this information from the table, then we have select command. I'm just giving an overview since it's our first class. Later on, we'll go deep into the class, okay? Or deep into these topics. So to create the table or to create anything, either a database or a table, we can use the command called create. Then to fetch the records, to fetch the data from the table, we have this command select. To modify the data, we have this command called alter. For modification, there can be a number. Let's say for delete as well, truncate, drop, so many things are there. Okay. We'll not be discussing these now. Now, let's see how the data looks like. So let's move into the database. So this is how the Oracle SQL database looks like. Okay. So this is a query window. This is a query sheet where you can create your table. You can write your command and through this particular thing, you can execute your command or a script. Now, this Oracle database, you have to install it in your laptop or computer, whatever it is. Okay. But let's say you're working in some organization and you want to practice SQL. So for that purpose, what you can do, you don't have to install any database. You can just go and search live SQL. Okay. So Oracle provides this live SQL platforms. You don't have to install any of the database. So for practice purpose, you can just go and then you can practice your SQL queries over here. Okay. So it provides you the SQL worksheet. But before running anything, you have to sign in. Mm, I think I'm using it after a very long time. So I'm not remembering my password, but it's fine. Okay, you understood it, right? You can just go onto this platform, you can just sign in and then you can start running your SQL queries. Either you create table or script or anything. Okay. But now it will not allow us to create table because without signing it will not allow us. So I will be showing it in the Oracle database. I'll be using SQL database, Oracle database, but you can run the same command over this free SQL application. Okay. So let's say what is our intention? Our intention is to create a table. So for that, we have a command called create, as I explained before. Okay. And after that command, you have to mention like what do you want to create? You want to create a table, right? And what is your table name? So we created a student table in the Excel. Okay. So I want to create a student table. These are the guidelines I'm giving into this database. Okay. But inside this table, what information you want to keep, right? So there you will see inside the student table, what information we kept. We kept the student ID, we kept the student name and student address. So you have to tell the database that, okay, you want to store these three information in the student table. So the database will create the table with these three columns. Okay. So let's give the command. Let's say I just want to create ID. Okay. So this is nothing but a column name that you want to create in the table. But what is this? This is like which type of, this is like a data type. So it says like what type of information you want to keep or you want to store in that column. Okay. So you are saying, okay, I will create a ID column. I'll create a name column. I will create a address column. But you have to tell database, okay, what kind of information you'll be storing. You'll be storing a character type of information. Character type of information is like a name, address. Okay. That's an alphabetical uh, name, right? So whatever names you're giving, it's in alphabet. Whatever IDs you generally generate or create, it's a number. So for number, we have integer data type. to store the character, that is a alphabetical name. Okay, we have character, we have varchar, different types of database based on the use. We'll learn those data types later, but now our intention is to create table. Okay, so let's say I created this table with varchar, and then there is a address column. So this is my command, create a table. Now, once you execute this command, you'll see the table is created. Let's say, okay, table student created. So this is the place, this is the output of this screen where you'll be seeing all your output, whatever query you'll be executing. Okay, so now we have the table created. If you want to check, okay, where is my table? Okay, or how it looks like. So you can just do select a star from student. So I told you to fetch any information, you can use the select command. So see, this is how your table look like. You have ID, you have name, you have address. But as of now, you have just created a table. You have not stored any value. You have not stored any of the student details in this table. Okay. And what is this a star says? Any idea?
It will fetch all the data in the table.
Yes. Yeah. So when you are just putting a star after select command, then it says that, okay, you want to fetch all the columns from this table. But let's say you just want to fetch ID and name, then you have to give those two names, the columns name basically. Okay. That, okay, I just want to fetch ID and name information. So it will just give you that particular information. Okay. ID and name from the student table. That's it. Okay. So now our intention is to store some records or insert some records into this table. One second. Yeah. So our intention is to insert records. So how can we insert the records? So for that, this we have insert command. These are simple English. I think I mean, even though you're not familiar with SQL, you know, okay, insert means to insert the record, to insert anything. Okay. Select means to fetch, create means to create anything. It's just that we are talking about database perspective. In the database, if you want to create a table, you can use create command. If you want to fetch anything, you can use select command. If you want to insert some records, you can write insert command. Okay. Now you wrote this insert command, but you have to again tell the database engine that where you want to store your information. So for now, we want to store the information in the student table, right? So you have to mention it that I want to store the information in this student table. Okay. and what type of information or what information you want to store. So for that, okay, let's say you want to store ID, name, address, whatever column name you gave for that particular database. So you need to mention the column name over here, and then you have to mention the values. There is other way to insert the records as well, but I'm for now explaining everything in detail and simple way to insert the records. Later on, we'll see other ways as well to insert the record into the table. Okay. So after the table name, you mentioned that, okay, these are my columns, ID, name, and address, and I want to insert some values into this table. Okay. So, so these are the values I want to keep inside the student table. Let's say if I execute it, can anyone tell me will this command work? Will we be able to insert this particular value in the table? Any idea? Okay, no problem. I'll just execute it and let's see what it says. Let's see the error, what we saw it over here. It says column not allowed here. Where column is not allowed? Okay. So it's talking about this particular value. Why? Because when we created this particular column, we said that, okay, our column will look like a varchar data type. Means I'll be storing an alphabetical character on this particular column. And whenever you want to insert a alphabetical or a character type of value into a table, you need to pass that value in quotes. In the same way I passed it for Hyderabad. So you have to keep these values in quotes and then execute the command. Let's see. Just put quotes around it and then execute it. Okay, one row inserted. So you understood like why it was throwing you that error. But again, okay, you can ask that, okay, it's fine, we didn't put quotes over this value, but why did it tell that column not allowed? It's not a column, right? It's a value. So I will say that's how the Oracle database behaves. So why it's saying column not found is because when you're not putting quotes into a varchar type of column, then it is understanding that, okay, you want to create some, you are mentioning a column name in this place rather than giving the values. See, here we gave the column name, right? So here we haven't kept these values in the quotes. So that's why when you are not giving quotes around any values, it understands that, okay, it treats it as a column and it says that, okay, under the values, column is not allowed. So that's why it is telling column not allowed here. So that's the same error you will be getting whenever you will miss quotes. Okay. So I'll not say remember this error, but yeah, once you start practicing SQL, you'll understand with the error itself, you'll understand okay, what is the mistake I'm doing in the my script. Let's say a beginner came into this Oracle database, he executed a command, and then he'll say, okay, I'm getting this particular error, but I don't know where I made the mistake. This is the correct place where I kept column, but what is the mistake I'm doing? So maybe he'll ask with someone, he will take help from Google, anything. But once he used to it, he'll get to know that, okay, this is the pattern. I have to store the character type of values. Okay, that's fine. We have inserted a record in the table. Now I just want to see that how my record look like. So that's how, see, we can see one record into this table, one Saurya Hyderabad. Okay, let's insert some more records and let's see. So what I'll be doing, I'll just modify this. Okay, so let me insert these values as well. So let's say all my rows inserted. So now we will see 4 records in the student table. Let's say we have 4 records in the table. So this is how our table look like. Now,
Farhan, I have a question. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you.
yeah,
So
yeah, sure. You can ask.
will be the syntax is going to be the same throughout in all other applications as well, or slightly it will change?
It will be same. It will be same across all the database. Whatever syntax we have used as of now, it will be same. But yeah, when you talk about all the syntax, all the keywords, then I'll say you'll hardly see the difference. Like only 2 to 5% will be difference in any of the syntax and keywords. Most of the things, more than 95% things will be same. So you can run the same command over any SQL database and in the cloud database as well.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You'll try executing once we share this recording, share this notes with you. You can try executing these commands and you can see. Okay. So now we have this particular table, the one we created. This is a student table where we have these 4 information. Now you can tell, okay, we created the table, we stored the value, we selected it. But what will we do out of these information? So you can use this information, not you, any of the business owners, what they used to do. Either is running a restaurant, a hospital, a, any of the, let's say, a telecom organization, a finance company. So what they do with this data is they used to store the information of their customers, their clients, and they used to either use it for analysis purpose, for reporting purpose, or to show their ads, to share the advertisements, newsletters, the WhatsApp notification, anything. Let's say nowadays, so many companies, what they used to do, let's say you went to some any of the snitch showroom or uh, let's say Max showroom. Once you took the product, you came out of it. After 10 days, 15 days, they start sending you notification. Okay, we have launched these product. These are our recent products, or these are the offers we are providing. So come visit our nearest store and purchase it from here. So they are using this data, the customer data, as a kind of their advertisement. So they don't have to go anywhere to connect or contact you, right? They already have stored these values, your ID, your name, your mobile number, and then they used to send WhatsApp notification, SMS notification, email notification, whatever. Okay. Now, okay, you observed one thing over here. What I'm writing it, the command, whatever I'm writing, somewhere I have used uppercase, and some of the places I'm using this capital case. Okay. And we can use the same command in a smaller case as well. Okay. So with this, what happened? Oh, sorry. I mentioned insert. Okay. So you can see it over here that we can use our keywords in any of the cases. So whatever you like, you can write it in uppercase. I've intentionally written it all the format so that I can explain you all these things. So you can either write it in uppercase, camel case, small case, but in most of the organization, they used to prefer writing the SQL keywords. So these are nothing but the SQL keywords. Okay. This create, table, select, insert, into. Okay. These are nothing but the keywords, I will say, in SQL. So they prefer to write these keywords in uppercase. Okay. But yeah, you can write it any of the case. You'll be able to execute the query. Now, okay. These are the keywords. And this is the information that you are giving. This is just a name that you are giving from your side. You can either give any name. You can give a student, you can give a students, you can keep a stud. Okay. So anything. So these names are can be changed. These IDs, these columns, these name, these addresses, these things can be changed, but the keywords can't be changed. So whenever you want to create a table, you have to use the same command like create, and then after that you have to give table. And then you can give the table name, the column name, all these details. Okay. And whenever you want to select the record, you have to mention select. These are the basic things I'm explaining as it is our first class. Later on, we'll go deep into new topics and then we'll learn things. Okay. Okay. Any doubt till here?
And nothing from my side, Farhan. Thank
Okay.
you.
I hope we are good. Okay. Fine. Now, in this table, Let's skip about the table. Yeah. In Excel, what do we do? If you want to fetch, if you want to just filter the records, we just the use Excel built-in filter option, right? Let's say I want to filter the records based on address. I just want to see those students who are from Hyderabad location. Okay. So I'll use the Excel filter option and we'll be able to see those records. In the same manner, in SQL, we have this command called where. So this is not just a filter command. With this command, you can filter the records. Let's try executing it and see how does it work. Okay. So you have to mention where. So you were selecting the records. Still here we were executing the query. Now you want to filter the record. So after the table name, you have to give this filter keyword. That is the where keyword. And now you can mention that, okay, you want to filter the record, but based on what column? Based on address column, right? So you have to mention that, okay, I want to filter the record based on address column. But okay, it's fine. You want to filter based on address column, but based on what information? Based on Hyderabad. Okay. I just want to see the students from Hyderabad. Let's say this is my command. Now I just want to execute it. See, now we can see the records from Hyderabad location, right? Is there a difference you are seeing it over here? Okay, no issues. Let's do one thing. Let's copy it from here. Let's go here.
So we have two records on Hyderabad city, but still, while execution, we're only getting one record, right, Farhan?
Exactly, yeah. This is what I wanted you to see. So let me take this query and then okay. So when you see this command, what did we do? And how it works from the engine perspective. Okay. Let me, I mean, we haven't covered a lot of keywords as of now, but I just want to explain you how does it work from engine perspective. So that we call it as order of execution. We wrote the command in this order, but how does engine executes it? In which order engine used to execute these command, these keywords? So what engine does is once you have written this keyword, okay. So first of all, engine will see that okay, user is has written some command, but what is he expecting from this command? So engine will see okay, he has mentioned somewhere else from a student. So it means he wants to do something with this table called a student. That he will understand. Okay, user wants to perform some action on this table a student. Okay. So for that, engine will take a copy of this particular table in the temporary memory. Okay. Then after that, it will see, okay, engine wants to perform some action from this table, a student. So it has taken a copy and kept it in the temporary memory. But out of these, oh, sorry, from these, from this particular table, what is the selection, or what is the, what you can say, what is the operation uh, user wants to do? So it will say, okay, before going into the operation, he has mentioned something called where. Okay. So he just don't want to select everything. First, user wants to filter it based on address column. Then it will say, okay, user wants to filter something based on address column, but based on what value? Based on Hyderabad, like where address is equal to Hyderabad. Then what it will do? It has already created a table in the temporary memory. Okay. Then it will see that, okay, user wants to filter something with this column address, and he want to filter based on Hyderabad. Fine. Then engine will start searching for this particular record in this table. It will go to the first record and check against the address column. Then it will see, okay, I've captured this. I got this particular value over here. Then do you think engine will stop at this particular point once he got one record, one matching record? No, it will move for other records as well. Then it will go to the second record. Then it will see, okay, user wants to filter based on Hyderabad, but here, so here it's not matching, right? Why? Because the cases, whatever you can see it over here, Hyderabad, and here the cases are not same. Apart from this H column, H alphabet, everything is same. But this H is, here it's in uppercase, here it is in lowercase. So this will not match. So it will not select this particular value. Then it will move to other record. Then it will say, okay, this is not matching. Then to the last record, this is also not matching. Then what it will do? It will just select this particular record. That's, I mean, at the last, that's what you want to do. You want to select the record. You want to display it, right? So this is the output you'll be getting once you execute this command. That's what we saw in the database. So in order of execution, first from clause work, then where, then select. Once we'll cover more keywords, I will explain the complete order of execution. But as of now, whatever we covered, I will just explain the same three commands. Okay, got it? But you can ask questions, right? That, okay, our intention is to fetch the records based on Hyderabad location or Hyderabad as an address, but we just got one record. We have two records for Hyderabad. Then how can we select the other record? This is not the correct result, right? Let's say someone came, let's say principal wants to see that, okay, how many students are there from Hyderabad location? Then whoever is the computer operator or uh, the computer teacher, generally, they used to fetch this information, they used to give it to the principal. So what he'll be doing? He'll be running these commands and he'll be giving this data to the principal. But is this the correct information that he's handing over to principal? No, right? This is not the correct information. There are other students as well from this location. If he has shared this information to the principal and principal can come back to him escalating, no, this is not the correct record. There is other students as well from this location. Why didn't you share me those data? He can come and raise so many questions. And this is just, I'm just explaining this picture in terms of a school. Let's say if it is an organization, if it is a client, you can't share these invalid data. So for that, you have to see like how can you extract all this information. So for that, we have this upper command. Okay, we are already 6 minutes late, but yeah, I'll just cover this topic and then we'll wrap up today's class. Okay, so we have this upper and lower command. So with this command, what we can do, this is also a SQL keyword. You can change the value. So you can change means convert the value of these records, these addresses into uppercase or lowercase. How can we do that? Let's see it over here. Okay. So what is our intention? I want to, okay, here itself I will use it, upper of, just to show you the data, how the data looks like once we write upper of. Okay. Now, okay, let's not execute the filter part first. Let's execute this one. What happened? Did we did any mistake? No, right? Okay. So let's understand from this perspective. So this is our upper of address column. So how the data look like? It has converted all the address information into uppercase, right? Now, what you can do? You can directly go and filter based on Hyderabad, and then you'll be able to see the record. So it's easy for you, right? Select the record based on Hyderabad. But now, can you tell me this particular command will work? Okay. Can you tell me, will this command give us the result? Let's execute it and see. It has not given us any out. You will say that, okay, we have records with Hyderabad, then why didn't it throw me any output? Then again, it's same about the case. Here, if you'll see, the values are in uppercase, but you are telling the engine that, okay, I want to filter based on these values. And this is not in uppercase. So when engine will go and then search for this particular value inside the database, it will not be able to see this particular value. Then how can you get the result? You have to convert these values as well in uppercase. Now you can see two records with address Hyderabad. Now, okay, let's understand here. Now you got these two records. Okay. Now tell me, is this the correct output? Yes. This is what
Ah,
we were expecting. Yeah.
yes, Farhan, but see, when you inserted the Hyderabad value,
Mm-hmm.
so, they're not in the uppercase. So the only H is the alphabet where it is uppercase. But when you are, I mean, retrieving the data, I could see the output is all the Hyderabad city is in uppercase.
Correct. No, the city is not in Hyderabad. The city is not in uppercase, right?
Yes, see, when you inserted the data, it's not in the uppercase actually.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are trying to get the data from the database, the two city names, the Hyderabad is showing in the uppercase. So did you modify the data? So I
No,
lost somewhere.
no, no. I don't. I didn't modify it. Okay,
Uh,
let me explain you. No issue.
yeah, if you
Okay.
just open Oracle,
Sure,
I
sure,
can
sure.
show you. Yeah.
Sure.
See,
Yeah.
let's go to the
So
insert. In the insert,
yes,
yes.
if you'll see, yeah.
Hmm,
So this is the same insert command I executed. I didn't
correct.
change anything.
Hmm.
Okay. So by intentionally I put these type of records so I can explain these commands to you. Okay.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay. So I one Hyderabad I kept in camel case like H as the capital.
Hmm,
Then another everything in a small.
yes.
When I execute this select command with address as Hyderabad. So do you think this Hyderabad is matching with this Hyderabad?
No.
No, right? So that's why when we were executing this command, you can see we can we were just getting one single record, the upper one. Yeah.
Yes.
So we were not able to fetch this particular information.
Correct.
So to fetch this information, like let's say you shared this particular value and this is not correct, right? Since we
Hmm,
have two students with Hyderabad location.
correct.
So our intention was to fetch both the student details.
Hmm.
So for that purpose, what we did, we converted the address column into uppercase.
Okay.
Okay. So once you convert it, see, this is how the data will look like.
Hmm.
So for that, intentionally, we wrote this upper command and then the address column. So against this address column, if you'll compare this upper of address, you'll see everything in uppercase. And why we are doing it? Just to fetch the student with Hyderabad location, right? But I
Okay,
am
this
not
is
doing, yeah, we are not
this.
doing any changes in the database in the table.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead with your question.
So this is the alias column, the upper address.
No, this is not an alias column.
Okay. See why?
That,
Because in the
yeah.
output, name
Mhm.
and we have an address and there is a upper address in the
Yeah,
output.
correct. So this is just because we have not given any alias to it.
Okay.
Okay. So that alias and everything will learn in the next class. Okay. So this is the same name, whatever we gave it over here, we are getting the same name when we are executing this keyword, right?
Yeah.
Upper of address. The only difference we can see it over here is it's converting all the address column value into uppercase.
Mm.
Now, our intention was to fetch the student details from Hyderabad location.
Yes.
Now, I executed this command. What I did, I kept upper of address in the filter condition. So against the where clause, where I was just giving the address column, what I did, I kept upper of address. So what it will do, it will compare everything with this Hyderabad, right? And then the same value I am passing it over here as well.
Clear.
Then it was able to capture both the records. But again, just to clear everyone, we are not doing any changes in the database in the table. So now again, if you'll go and then execute the select a star from a student, then you'll see the table look as it is. See, the same way whatever information we inserted, it is same across the table. And we don't have any upper of address column as well. Right? See, I did star. So it means to fetch all the columns. So there is no upper of address column. But just for our purpose, our requirement, what we did, we converted this address column into uppercase and then compared it against the capital case Hyderabad or uppercase Hyderabad. Yeah. And then we were able to get our result. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So there is one more command lower that I will take into the next class. Okay. So I just want to take a feedback. Like so far, whatever I explained today, was it clear? And how are you? I mean, what is your feedback about the class? Are we? Am I able to explain everything? Is anything I need to improve, or we can make changes in the class? Anything? You can just share your feedback.
Nothing from my side, Farhan. It's overall it was good, and I'm able to understand what exactly you're trying to teach. So, but are you going to follow any sequence that we will go with, like this first, then this, in order or in a sequence? Because now today we were just randomly we were going and doing operations on these columns, and right, we
Correct.
are using
Correct.
creatives. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, we have set of sequence for all these keywords. In the same manner, I'll be explaining everything. So today it's our demo session. So I just wanted to explain you like what is the database, what is the SQL, how we can create a table, how we can insert the table, sorry, insert the values into the table, how we can do the select operation. So these are the basic things that I wanted to explain you. in the same way, like the way I explained you, in the same way, I'll be explaining with the help of Excel, with the help of Oracle database. We will execute each and every command. We'll see how the data look like, how the output look like, and what is our intention, what is our requirement, and how to achieve that particular requirement. Okay. In the same manner, but yeah, we have that sequence. I think I already shared the syllabus in the group. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So now, okay, let me stop the recording once and then